The Phoenix Suns acquired Bradley Beal in a trade with the Washington Wizards for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a bunch of second round picks. And my initial reaction to the deal was that it was an absolute steal in the Suns' favor. And 24 hours later, being able to digest more information about the deal, knowing that the Suns also got back Isaiah Todd and Jordan Goodwin, you know, I only feel stronger about that. I feel like it's an absolute heist, no which way about it. For the Wizards, I understand wanting to get off of Bradley Beal. They have a new regime over there, new front office. So I think they wanted to move forward, hit the reset button. So I get the motivation to, move Bradley Beal in a trade. But a 39-year-old Chris Paul does nothing for you. Landry Shamet, role player, does nothing for you. So you do got to ask yourself, why they weren't able to get more in the deal for a guy like that. Bradley Beal is one of the best scorers in the league. Those types of guys usually demand a premium for you to get their services, and the Suns did not pay a premium in this deal whatsoever. So on their side of things, it's an absolute win, especially thinking about the trio of Beal, Booker, and KD in a playoff dynamic. I mean, those three guys are top 1% players, scorers in the world, right? So, I call those types of guys Lamborghinis because if you think about the court like a freeway, they're operating at their own speed, at their own pace, getting to their spots at will, really doing whatever they want on the court because ultimately they have, they're built different. They have different engines underneath their hood. So in a playoff setting, I think is where they're going to be the most dangerous by far. And they're going to be an absolute head case trying to game plan defensively against those guys in the playoffs. But for me, a lot of the questions that I had coming into the offseason have not been answered with this deal. Does it make them better and more dangerous? It absolutely does. But, what about the depth of this team? That has not been solved with this deal whatsoever. You got some depth pieces with the young guys, but are they playable depth pieces? There's a question mark around that. Where are the wing players on this team? The wing position is the most premium position in basketball. You absolutely have to have high-level wing players, 3-and-D players, to be a championship level club, and the Suns don't really have any of those guys right now. So that's where the questions lie for me going forward. How do they solve those questions? And the obvious answer is probably to move DeAndre Ayton. And I'm not one of the Suns fans that is in the camp of, moving DA no matter what. I love DA. I wouldn't trade him just to trade him. But I think you have to trade him almost now because, there's too many glaring holes on this team for you to build around without kind of moving a piece like that. So, you might have to roll with Jock Landale at the 5, Bismack Biyombo at the 5 for at least half the season up until the trade deadline to see how that works because, you have to go get wings. I think if you can go get an OG Anunoby or, get somebody that can be an elite level wing player. If you think about the Nuggets, they have Aaron Gordon. Can we get an Aaron Gordon type on this team? That's the type of guys that we need to really reach the pinnacle of success. So although I do like this move, there's a lot of questions that I have going forward, and the job is not done. For Suns fans, though, you have to feel great because Matt Ishbia is spending money left and right. I mean, it's the Phoenix Suns, not the New York Yankees, but we're spending money like we're the New York Yankees. So you got to feel good about that, knowing that this guy's willing to dig deep into his wallet to build the best possible team and the best possible product. You have to love that. So, as a Suns fan right now, I feel great about our position. It's very early in the offseason. We haven't even gotten to the draft yet. I'm so curious about what else they can do. And I'm not super familiar with the way the new CBA works and kind of all the salary cap restrictions and things like that because I heard Bobby Marks talking about some of that stuff on ESPN, and man, it's like you have to have a Stanford degree to understand half of that stuff. It's ridiculous. So I'm not going to try to predict what they're going to do because, even this trade threw everyone for a loop. This was a curveball. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I know the job's not done yet. And, this is a great move initially to basically swap out CP for Bradley Beal. You're a much stronger, better team for that. But there's a lot more to do. And I'm curious to see, how they do it. So a lot to look forward to. We'll see what happens.